Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Doing something a little different today. If you've been following me on the journey of fixing the Blazer, this is gonna look slightly different. It's about a foot lower and a few feet shorter and less than half the engine. But this is my 2013 Abarth 500C. It is my baby. It does not go out in the snow. It does not go out until I'm sure that all the salt has been washed off the roads in the spring. Underneath it, it looks like a brand new car. It only has 60,000 miles. I've owned it about 5 years now, and again, only driving it in nice weather. Sits in the garage all winter, and that's what the Blazer's for. So all I've really done to it maintenance-wise since I've had it is just oil change every year, and I replaced the spark plugs, and it has a washable air filter, so I've washed that and oiled it regularly, and really that's about it. It's been pretty much smooth sailing for me. It's kind of funny because if you just ask a random mechanic like, hey, how reliable are the Fiat 500s? And they will say like, don't go anywhere near them, stay away, don't even think about buying one. And for me, this thing's been awesome. And like, I don't believe in jinxing or knocking on wood or anything, but yeah, I mean, anything can happen. It's still got low miles, but it's been awesome for me. There are 2 items that need to be done, and this seemed like as good a time as any to do it. The weather's starting to get nice. The Blazer is running, so I have a way to get to work if this takes me more than the weekend. I have the very common issue of the front CV shaft boots completely disintegrating. It's really common on these cars, and it's even more common on ones that are lowered. And this one has coilovers, and it's dropped about as far as you can possibly get. Like, I have to swerve around little rocks this big in the road because it'll hit things. Again, quite the opposite of the Blazer. So the proper fix is catch it before you completely trash the CV joint. Replace the boots, replace the grease. That's what I'm gonna do today. With the boots being torn, they've slung grease everywhere under there, so I plan to clean that all up. And while I'm under there, just address anything else I might come across. I'm pretty sure everything should be pretty good as far as bushings, sway bar links, brakes. Everything should be in pretty good shape because it's not very old, doesn't have a lot of miles. The other thing I'm gonna do while I have it apart is the timing belt. I only have, barely over half the miles of what you're supposed to hit before you do a timing belt change, but they also put a year limit. And being a 2013, this is now 12 years old. So I'm gonna do it while I'm in there. Again, it's my baby, I gotta take care of it. So I've got the whole kit, which is the timing belt and the tensioner pulley and the water pump. And that also requires a special tool, which I was worried how I was gonna do it without the tool to hold everything in line. I figure I can probably muddle my way through it. Turns out the tool's like 25 bucks, so I've got the tool. So as you can see, it's already up off the ground. I pulled out the inner fender wells, pulled off the wheels. Guess I'm just gonna get to it. I don't have a whole lot of time today. We're gonna see how it goes, but I'm free tomorrow too. So hopefully I can get it done. Got Saturday, Sunday, and then I'm driving the Blazer to work on Monday if this isn't finished. So let's get to it. There's Izzy living her best life again. Can always find her laying in the sun. All right, here's the other side. The boot is torn, but it has not completely failed yet, but you can see there is still grease has been slung, so it's also all over the gearbox here. So yeah, everything else looks pretty nice. It's, as far as I know, 100% rust-free everywhere other than a few nuts and bolts. Okay, I've revealed the belt, and it doesn't look too bad. Yeah, looks pretty good. Obviously, I'm still going to replace it because I bought it, and I'm halfway to it. Well, that makes things a lot easier to get to. There's the motor mount, there's the timing belt. Everything's right there. So I thought removing that was gonna be much more work than the benefit, but honestly that took like 5 minutes and it was so much easier. And now I can get to the wrap, because another part of this project, I think, is peeling off the wrap, which is now about 6 years old and starting to fail. So the plan all along when I bought this was I was looking for one that was red, and the one that I found that had all the options I wanted was red with a purple wrap. So I just lived with the purple for now, but it's gonna be time to take off the wrap too. So I don't know if that'll be in this video or not. Guess we'll see how long things take, but Well, I think that's probably it for the day. I had to go run some errands, so I decided to do engine degreasing first. Then I can just dry all night, and tomorrow I can pick up where I left off. Things are looking a lot cleaner. Radiator's drained. So tomorrow I should be able to just dig right in and get it done.
The following day.
Hey, what's up? So today's the day. It's Sunday. Let's see if I can get this thing finished before I have to go to bed and get up in the morning to go to work. Doesn't really matter if I start with timing belt or axles, so I've decided I'm just going to start with timing belt. So it looks like I've got everything pretty easily accessible right now with the bumper and the headlights out. It just really makes things easy. I think I'm going to take off the washer bottle because that's kind of right in the way. And then I'm going to lift up the engine, take off the motor mount, and start trying to figure out my tool for holding everything while I replace the timing belt. It's like the cheesy Chinese version of the factory tool, so the instructions aren't great, but I mean, I could probably figure it out. So let's get to it. Here are some tips about disassembling this, because I just had a hell of a time. The main motor mount is pretty self-explanatory. 3 on the bottom, 3 on the top. It helps to swing this coolant bottle bracket out of the way so you can get to this one. That's easy. This thing about killed me. When I first looked at it, I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like 5 bolts, that seems excessive, but okay. There's a 6th one in a hole here, and down here you have a nut on a stud. This one's so far down, you can't see it from the top. Maybe you can take it off before you lift the engine. Like you could take that one off first from the bottom. I'm not sure, but it was really hard to get to, and you have to use a deep weld because you got a stud sticking through it. So hopefully that helps. I just can't believe there's this much hardware for a 1.4 liter engine. But then the plastic cover, you got a screw right in the middle, and there's one up here that holds the top and bottom covers. That's basically it for the cover. So you might be wondering why I'm tearing the gearbox side of the engine apart. That is because this tool holds the camshaft over there, while this tool holds the crankshaft. Now you got a 50-50 shot of stopping it at top dead center, and I of course failed. So as you can see on that center, there's a little hole on the left side of that. This is what bolts in there, and that little peg goes in the hole. So I'm on the wrong side. So I'm gonna loosen the crank holder on the other side, turn the engine 1 revolution at the crank, which should be half a revolution on the cam. Right? I think, or maybe 2 to 1. I don't know, we'll watch it. It's too early for mathing. Okay, as you saw, I've got that bolted in place, holding the cam. I've got this in place, holding the crank. So I think it's time to remove the belt. All right, so while I'm in here, I'm gonna replace the multi-air filter, which goes right there. Now this is a generic one. The OEM ones, I've seen up to $80 for one of these filters. It really bothers me that this doesn't just come in the timing set, because if you're gonna do the water pump while you have it apart, why wouldn't you do this while you have it apart? And it also bothers me that Chrysler doesn't just sell these to people doing maintenance, because you're supposed to replace these somewhat regularly. Okay, if I set up the camera to see this water pump, I'm not gonna be able to get my hands in there. But it's right here, it's got a few bolts holding it in. I'm just gonna remove that and bring it back. Well, that was after leaving the radiator petcock open all night. So I'm gonna clean up that mess, get the new water pump installed. There are just 4 10mm bolts, actually 3 bolts, 1 nut. And then you have to pry it off, which isn't easy, but I'm gonna start cleaning up that mess. Okay, I've got the water pump hole all cleaned out. So that's all clean. The old one just had silicone sealant. The new one came with a gasket. So I think I'm gonna do the buttered toast method, or just do a thin little smear on there on each side of the gasket and stick it on. One thing I noticed I really like, the new impeller is a metal and the old one was plastic. So better than OEM in that way. And this one seems perfectly fine. It's not rattling, it's not loose, it wasn't leaking. You just do it when you have it apart. Just want to pause for a moment since I'm at the maximum taken apartedness of this project, just so you can see, if you're considering doing this, what you're in for. If you're comfortable with this, I say you do it. If you're not, make sure you got about $2,000 and start calling mechanics and see who wants to touch a 500. Because many don't. Well, I think I'm done for the day. I was hoping to get it finished, but I've got other things to do before I have to go to bed and get up for work at 5 in the morning. So let me turn you around and show you what I got done. All right, I didn't film a lot of this, but I got the timing belt back together. I should have also replaced the serpentine belt while I had it apart. I didn't think of that when I ordered the parts. Every car I've ever had, the serpentine belt, it's like a 5-minute job. This one looks a little worse, so I should have done it while I had it apart, but I didn't want to wait another week to put this back together. But yeah, we're basically done up here, and the next thing is to do the CV boots. So looks like that'll get done either an evening during the week or next weekend, but it is Sunday night, so I gotta stop. So it's gonna be a week of driving the Blazer, so pray for me. We'll see you next week.
1 week later.
I am sure getting a lot of mileage out of those SpongeBob bumpers. So like the Frenchman said, it has been 1 week, or at least it's the following weekend. Today I'm gonna try to tackle these axle shafts. I don't have a whole lot of time today, maybe a couple hours till I have to go take care of some stuff, but let's just see what we can get done in the next couple hours. Well, I'm doing things a little out of order here because it turns out I don't have a socket for that size nut. So I at least got the boots out and some of the grease cleaned up. I'm gonna do one more round of engine degreaser underneath here because that grease that got flung everywhere is still quite thick. And then when I run my errands, I'm gonna get coolant and a socket for that. And hopefully that's all I need. I guess we'll see. Famous last words. Well, as you can see, I went off on a little bit of a tangent, started pulling the wrap off. So once again, I don't have a whole lot of time. Been a really busy weekend, but I just modified the socket I just bought for the axle nut because of course the wall wasn't thin enough, but I'm gonna see if I can get those axles out now. All right, I'm sorry I didn't film much of this. It wasn't probably very exciting. I just cleaned up these two axle shafts on the bench grinder wire wheel and threw some black paint on them, so maybe they won't rust as much. So if the blazer is any indication, it'll last like a month. So that's about it. I'm gonna let that dry and hopefully be able to slap this back together tomorrow. I still have the inner shafts in here. I just haven't climbed under there and unbolted them. I probably should have done that because there's gonna be some rust there that would be nice to clean off, but whatever. I think I got all day tomorrow. It's Memorial Day. Since I have a grown-up job, I actually get it off now. So I guess we'll come back tomorrow, see how it goes. All right, what's up? Happy Memorial Day. So I just started by pulling the axle shafts out. You saw I already got the, I guess you'd call them half shafts. I don't really know. I haven't worked on that many front-wheel drive vehicles, but whatever you call them, those are all painted and ready to go back together. I just got the inner parts, so I'll flip you around and show you how that's looking. So as I said, here are the ones I painted. Those are ready to put the boots on, fill with grease, all that. Once you remove the inner shafts, this is what you're left with. Oh, here comes the inspector. What do you think, Iz? Looking good? Yeah. I haven't been giving a lot of updates on Izzy, but you can probably see an area here has been shaved. She's been having some health problems lately. She's had a few trips to the local vet and then a few trips to UW-Madison, which is about a 3-hour drive. And she's old. She's about 12 years old now, and it's getting to be the end of her days, unfortunately, but we're just still trying to give her the best life we can. She's been my ride or die for 12 years. Anyway, back to less depressing things. To remove this center shaft, there are just 3 10mm screws, and this pops out pretty easily. And then I could see this would be the time to inspect things like this seal and this bearing. I mean, all that looks fine to me. Again, this only has 60,000 miles on it. This would be the time to replace those. So I'm gonna head over to the bench grinder and clean up all this rust, throw some paint on here, and then let that dry and switch to something else. Okay, CV shafts are put back together. So they're still a little tacky. I'm gonna let the paint dry a little bit before I stick them back in, and it's about lunchtime anyway. So I'll go in there and eat something, come out, slap those in, and then I would be ready to roll, except I forgot that once I take out those CV shafts, all the gearbox oil is gonna pour out. So now I have to figure out what I need to buy for that, which is annoying. All I can do is deal with shit as it comes. All right, I'm back after a quick lunch break. I just wanted to clarify something here. This plate that I had taken off when I pulled the axle out, that does not have to come off to pull the axle out. Mine was just stuck so bad that that was easier than finding something to pry on, especially when everything's dripping in grease. So you might not have to pull that out. It's just gonna be kind of hard to get the leverage to pull the axle out of it, but that's it. It's up to you. Do however you want to. All right, I guess I'm gonna cut this one off here. Like I said earlier, it's Memorial Day, so I'm back to work tomorrow. This is not gonna get finished because now I need to buy some gear oil. So driving the Blazer another week. So this seemed like a good place to cut it off since the video is already over 20 minutes long. So next week we'll pick it up. You can finally see the finished product with it all back on the ground, driving, and red. Something you may have noticed in these shots is the hood has a bunch of damage under the wrap. And since it was DA'd, the adhesive stuck really bad. So the wrap for that area is coming off in little pieces. It's gonna need to be resprayed. I've got a friend who works at a body shop. He said he'd be willing to help me out. I mean, I've done some decent paint jobs in garages and outside before, but I guess if I have access to a paint booth, might as well do it. So, and I did order the original style Abarth graphics for the side in white. So we'll do that next week too if I get them in time. So anyway, we're gonna cut it off there for this week. Thanks for coming along on this extremely stacked video. Got a lot done, unfortunately, not quite finished, but what are you gonna do? Until YouTube starts making me enough money to quit my day job, it's just the way it's gonna have to be, and I'm a long way from that, so not holding my breath. All right, so we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.